Happy Spiritual Sunday to you all, and welcome back to another lesson in true universal spiritual understanding. Time is the cause of randomness, and randomness is the root of chaos. I'll explain today. But as we always start, let me read a little bit from Karen's book, Simple Light. And this is the message for today from Karen. The world is evolving and changing, and with this change comes much chaos. The weather is going crazy, so too are people, it seems. Why is this? We understand that right before the dawn is the darkest part of the night. Now more than ever, we have the ability to enact change. Now, more than ever, we have the ability to enact change. The light force is the only energy that can bring an end to the chaos. Each one of us represents that godlike force. Each of us has a piece of the Creator inside of us. When we share and treat everyone with dignity, we reveal the piece of the Creator that is part of us. I'm not saying that we should be friends with everybody, but I am saying that each person, no matter who they are, is a part of the energy of the God force. And we must treat that individual with human dignity no matter what. Yes, I know a lot of you are thinking, yeah, but what do you do with the bad actors and whatever? This is what the Kabbalah Centre, because of the lineage all the way back to the origin of the Zohar itself, the mission of the center is to end all pain, suffering, and death for all humanity forever. It's all inclusive. It does not leave anybody out. So we are not saying, what Karen is not saying, what the center is not teaching is, well, let everybody do whatever they want. Human dignity may often entail, as we used to call it, tough love. It may be tough, but the real key is it's tough with love. Many of you who are parents have had those moments that your children that you love tremendously and you only want good for, and you only want good in their future. You have to act tough. You have to shake and wake them up in a way that they'll get a transformation. They get your love, but through toughness. Sometimes you have to give them consequences. Sometimes you have to speak with them sternly. But because you love them, even the words that sound stern on the outside contain love on the inside. And therefore, those words that in essence say, I love you and I care for you, I want to treat you, as Karen called it, with human dignity, so that you will be able to navigate your life in the path of the light and have greater peace and love and good blessings in your life. But it's coming with tough words containing love, so it reaches your heart and soul, and it will awaken the godlike force inside you. What Karen is saying, what the Rav and Karen taught for 50 years, what Rav Ashlag, Rav Bren, when you go all the way back down, the great Kabbalists taught. Yes, we are allowed to defend ourselves. We are not saying to let everybody do what they want. But what they do say, our work, those of us who have the great merit to learn here in the Kabbalah Center, which Spiritual Sunday is a part of, it's our mission to lead humanity by injecting more and more every day light from our heart and soul to the heart and soul of every human being on earth, that will awaken the light of the Creator inside them. And so with that consciousness to realize, as we'll talk about today, the only way to get rid of pain, suffering, and death, as Karen said, the light force of the Creator. We each contain a soul that is completely full of that light, and we know that the universe is infinite light shining all around us 24/7 without an empty space. Light fills the universe. It's our job, our spiritual work, our mission for which we came into this world, to act like the Creator and shine our light 24/7 unconditionally, that we will be able to awaken the light in every human being, and that will become ultimately the impetus, the force, the motivation within you and me to achieve the rest of our 100%, and an awakening in the souls of people out there who don't know yet what we're learning, but will have a spiritual awakening that will help guide them back onto the path of the light for which we all came into this world. And so let's use today's affirmation. Let's say it today with greater focus, greater intention, with desire to remove all the illusion from the minds of every human being on earth, and to speed up the process of the end of all of the darkness and all the chaos that comes with that. So we say it together. Consciousness is everything. I raise my consciousness today to see the miracles and wonders of life. I commit myself to behave with greater love, compassion, and kindness towards all human beings. And so let's discuss randomness. People see randomness everywhere. Why do good things happen to bad people? Why do bad things happen to good people? How come this person who took care of their health, diet, ate right, all these things, why do suddenly they get sick or sick and die or trouble like that? And then we see people who didn't do all the diet, exercise, what have you, healthy habits, and they can have a long life. Why is it that people who are good people, who are doing business for years, and suddenly their business falls apart? Or why is it that a person, a good, kind-hearted person, driving down the street, and suddenly out of nowhere, boom, there's a car accident? Accident. So we often, even you think about it the other way, when a person says, oh, they had good luck. What are we really inferring? Random. Well, they happen to have had good luck. It wasn't meant for them. It maybe wasn't what they were doing, but suddenly out of nowhere came this good fortune or good luck. So we have, whether you think so or not, we all have some aspect in the back of our minds that there's randomness in this universe. And yet at the same time, what does science tell us? Everything is cause and effect. Action, reaction. We often say, or you've heard the phrase, what goes around comes around. Like attracts like. The Bible says, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, inferring cause and effect. Even in its coded way, as we know the Bible is, God sets up laws. Do this, reward. Do this, punishment. Which is another way of saying cause and effect. So how come if science and the Bible give us in essence the understanding that everything is cause and effect, where's randomness come in? And usually if you think about it, think about yourself. Most of the time, we generally accept there is cause and effect, right? You go to work to make money to pay your bills. You make that effort to diet, exercise, whatever it is, to have good health. You work hard in business to make the money so you can have a nice life. We tend to act as if everything operates in cause and effect until something happens out of nowhere that doesn't seem to act in this framework of cause and effect. Yet, I want to put in your consciousness, either there is completely cause and effect, or there is complete randomness. Some of you saying, oh, no. Yes, I believe there's cause and effect in some places, and other things in life are just random. If you believe that, hopefully not by the end of today, if a person believes that really there is randomness in the universe some places or sometimes and cause and effect the rest of the time, then we'd have to say, if you think about it objectively, you stand back, look at the universe, then we'd have to say the entire universe is random. You can't say some places here and some places there. Because why? That's random. How would you know, if you believed in that, how would you know where the randomness would show up? It would be random. So you have to decide now for your future, for your control over destiny. Do you believe it's random, the entire universe and everything in it? Or are you willing to be open-minded at least and start looking, as we'll discuss, looking how the system of cause and effect works even when our five senses don't perceive cause and effect? You have to decide. Because if a person truly believed it was random universe, why bother doing anything? Why get out of bed? Why try and diet and exercise? Why try and be a nice person? Why not just break all the laws there are? Because if it's a random universe, there's the other one. People get away with crime all the time. They get away with murder. They get away with stealing, blah, 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 all of that. Again, influence of randomness. No, we have to decide. If it was a random universe, why bother doing anything? Do anything you want anytime, because it's random whether good will come from it or bad will come from it. No, we don't believe that way. We work as if there's cause and effect, and now we'll start to understand where this idea of randomness comes from. So, as many of you know, Spiritual Sunday is an aspect. It's an event, a project from the Kabbalah Centre. And the Kabbalah Centre, which holds the Zohar as the ultimate blueprint of the universe, the complete blueprint of the universe. And that's why there is no question within the universe that cannot be understood and answered by the teachings of the Zohar. If it's the blueprint, it contains the most minute details of the universe, which is why also 2,000 years ago, in its written form, talked about various physics, medicine, scientific facts that the scientists didn't know, some till this day, and some until very recently. So what we teach from Kabbalah 1 forward is how to see through the illusion, the optical illusions, if you will, of the five sense physical material world. Because only when we can see through that optical illusion, and it doesn't mean it doesn't have impact, it doesn't mean we shouldn't live in the physical world and work with the physical world, but it does mean to learn how to use your spiritual energy, the power of the light of the Creator inside you, to guide you operating in and moving through the physical material universe of your daily life. Driving down the street, dealing with your family, going out to the movies, going to business, working out, whatever else it is you do, going to sleep, eating. There's nothing that you do that's not empowered from the light of your soul. It's our choice to use the light of the soul in a constructive way, or heaven forbid, as we see unfortunately a lot of people out there, use the light of their soul in a negative way. Randomness means no control over life, over your destiny. And that's why we do not truly internally believe in randomness. Because when you wake up in the morning, you're making an effort to control your destiny in some way, shape, or form. And where we tend to see things that we might call random, which will appear in many different ways to appear the situations that we would define as, or have defined as, unjust and unfair. But you and me, being the good, kind people, especially you and I, we have had the awakening to make the world a better place, a quantum world. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this, you wouldn't be part of the Kabbalah Center. So when we see things that even we have defined as unfair, unjust, which means it's part of the random perception, we make an effort. We want to make an effort to take control over it, to take out what we might have called the unfair, the unjust. So in every way, shape, or form, when we stand back and look at human behavior, the essence is wanting to take control over one's life, over one's destiny. And yes, with the influence of that AI program, some people are making that effort to control their destiny by trying to get rid of, in a minor way, a major way, what have you, other people. Why is there no such thing as randomness? Well, we go back to the fundamental teachings of the Zohar and Kabbalah. The Creator's original desire was to give its beneficence to its creation. And as you and I learn here in the center, Spiritual Sunday, the Creator's only creation is the one soul of humanity, and then the Creator filled it, us, with the infinite light. Then, as we often speak about, we divided in this physical world from the one being to Adam and Eve to all the 8.5 billion bodies, but it's still one soul. We came here because we chose collectively as that one soul, one vessel filled with light in the endless world. We came to the physical world because we wanted to manifest the infinite bliss of the light that's inside that vessel, our soul, to make it manifest and therefore manifest and experience infinite bliss eternally. So we chose to come here to give us a way and a means through this physical, material world that also contains the illusion that our five senses can show us. And again, if you're new to this, think of an optical illusion is fooling your five senses. Think of a dog whistle. Our ears don't hear it, not because there's no sound, but because our ears are not sensitive enough, like a dog's ears, to hear that sound. So we know the physical five sense world has its limitations. And therefore we want to be divinely guided by what people have called the sixth sense, intuition. Let's just simply understand it, the voice of our soul. The voice of our soul. So the Creator gave us the power of creation. And just like in simple physical terms, we can choose, and in many ways have chosen, to use our creator power to create chaos. Think simple. Your house is in order, your room is in order, and somewhere along the line, you and I may choose by our actions to create disorder, disarray, a mess. It's our creator power that we use to make the mess. The thing that the Kabbalah Centre is teaching us through the teachings of the Zohar and the great master Kabbalists of history is how to take what we perceive as the disorder, chaos, randomness, and bring it back into its original harmony, its original order that brings that sense of peace, health, prosperity, love, kindness, the unifying of humanity versus the divisiveness of humanity. Now, how does that work? And we'll see now, as I called it today, time is the cause of randomness. So, simple terms, when we left the endless world, again as one collective soul, we made, in simplest terms, a deal with the Creator. Here's cause and effect. You and I have only two choices of behavior. Acting like the light, meaning to shine more of our light out into the world where we see darkness, chaos, negativity, or whatever, or seek to get from, to receive from the world happiness, joy, what have you. So we can either, as we call it, reveal the light, the next level of light of our 100% potential, or by reactive behavior, anger, fear, insecurity, judgment, jealousy, etc., cover up, conceal that light. When we act like the light, like the Creator, we have more of what the Creator has, infinite bliss. When a person acts reactively, which is seeking to get rather than share, then they're acting in the opposite of the Creator, and therefore the effect is, the result is, the opposite of harmony, order, and blessings. It's ultimately chaos. Now, what does it mean then that we say that we can perceive randomness? So as you understand that deal, simple cause and effect. Act like the light, great blessings. Don't act like the light, more challenges. Greater, as we often call it, spiritual debt. So where does the randomness part come in? Because, let's say like with a farmer, you're an apple farmer and you want to grow apple trees so you can collect the fruit, and that's how you make your money. So you take a seed, you plant an apple seed in the ground. When you plant that apple seed, do you have any doubt that apples are going to come from that tree? Do you think maybe somewhere along the way, as the tree grows, it'll turn into pears, it'll turn into oranges, something else? No. You know you planted an apple seed, and there is a process of time. The roots grow, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, and then the fruit even goes through a process. It's first green, if you will, bitter, and then as it continues to grow, it becomes sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and turns into orange. The orange that we know, the orange on the outside and the fruit on the inside. But there's a process of time. And so, therefore, that same process of time takes place between the cause and effect of our actions. When a person acts in a reactive way, they get instant gratification. Scream and yell at somebody you're having an argument with and they back off and they apologize or whatever, you now have instant gratification. But because it was the seed of the opposite of the Creator, it was the opposite of shining more light out uncomfortably into the challenging situation, into the metaphysical darkness, has to come another challenge to give us the opportunity to shine more light. The issue is, and we just use this for today, let's say it takes 6 months. So the person screams and yells, instant gratification. 6 months later comes another challenge because they in essence created a debt, as we often call it, and that debt has to be paid off, but in 6 months. Similarly, let's say, when a person is challenged, there's some button pushing situation, and you and I learn from Kabbalah 1 forward, no, shine light. Don't give in to that instant desire for instant fulfillment. Don't give in to that knee-jerk response. Act more like the Creator, shining the love, shining the light of greater love, kindness, and compassion. What happens? Ultimately, greater blessings, chaos turns to order, more health, prosperity, peace, love, whatever. But again, there's that, let's call it 6-month process. It's in those 6 months that the AI program called Satan, the opponent, the evil inclination, the ego, the angel of death, all those names are one AI parasitic program that's there to oppose, make us make some extra effort to shine our light and have greater eternal bliss. It's in that space of those 6 months that the opponent shows us randomness. Because let me ask you, do you remember, even let's say 3 days ago, do you remember every time you got a little annoyed, you got a little upset, you got a little judgmental, you felt a little jealousy or what have you? Can you remember every one of them? And that's just 3 days. So if there is, which there is, as we know there is cause and effect. So if you acted 3 days ago with a little bit of annoyance, let's call it a little bit of jealousy, well, that's not light-like. So the person not acting like the light, then that has to come around again. Because we have to pay our spiritual debt. We have to pay the debt of acting in a jealous way and getting instant gratification, and then adding to our spiritual credit card debt. The collector has to come, but it comes in 6 months. Now something happens and the person says, oh my God, why is that happening? I'm such a good person, which you are. If you're watching here, you're a student in the center, you are amazing people. Doesn't mean we don't have our little bit of jealousy or annoyance somewhere. Has to come. But now those 6 months have transpired, or even the 3 days. Person says, wow, why are they doing this to me? Why is this going on? I'm so good and nice. because you forgot. The 3 days ago, you acted, emanated the energy of jealousy, and it has to be paid off. So something shows up. That space of time where we don't see. Now, with the tree, we've learned that a tree takes whatever it is. A plant takes 90 days or 91 days to grow out of the ground, right? The tree takes about 2 or 3 years, whatever it is, for the fruit to show up. So we are patient with that process, but we know we planted an apple seed. Apples are going to come off the end of those trees. We have no doubt, because we know it's cause and effect. Random universe, you could plant an apple seed and get who knows what, blueberries. No, it is cause and effect. So therefore, that's why I say we all act as if the universe is cause and effect, because on the soul level, we know it's absolutely cause and effect. We know that the universe is not random. And therefore, and this is the key, as you can be conscious of the seed you are planting when you respond in a challenging, button-pushing situation, as you can be conscious and make the choice to act like the light, you are now taking greater true control over your life, your destiny, by acting more like the Creator, therefore moving on the path of the light and eternal blessings more and more and more. Paying off the spiritual debt, or sometimes we call it removing some of that spiritual mud that you've tossed on yourself by reactive behavior. We are taking control over our life and our destiny. And that's why, like we learned from Kabbalah 1 forward, button being pushed, pause. If you don't pause, there's no changing your destiny. There's no increasing the blessings. There's no removing whatever chaos is already existent. Only with a pause can we have the moment to be conscious. Remember this deal, cause and effect, reactive and proactive, and then choose to act with proactivity, shining light into the darkness, shining the light of love, forgiveness, tolerance, apology, kindness, generosity, humility, whatever it is, and then allowing our soul's process, like nature's process with the tree to the fruit, allowing our soul's process to bring in the right time, in the right way, the blessing of that seed that we've planted. Pause, start sharing the light. And remember, sharing is not weakness. That opponent, that AI program that we put inside our brain is so well programmed that any moment in any way we make an effort. We start to make the effort, even the pause. Once you pause and the buttons are pushed, that's when that AI program is going to click on. As long as a person keeps knee-jerk responding in a reactive way, that program doesn't have to operate, because the person is still acting in the habitual, trained aspect of reactive. The moment there's a pause and we can have free will, we can activate our true God-given choice, what seed to plant, that's when we program the AI program of Satan, the opponent, the ego, etc., to click in and put in one's head, be angry, be jealous. The last time you screamed at them, they backed off, scream again. The last time you acted with anger, they backed off, you got your way, so you want your way again. That's when it kicks in, to make us exert extra effort to share, extra effort to consciously beam a beacon of light, a ray of light out of our heart and soul to all those people in that situation, and remove the darkness from our side. And remember, you have your own cycle of cause and effect, circuit of it. Every one of those other people have their own circuit of cause and effect. So don't let your opponent say, yeah, but if you're shining light on them, they'll be blessed, they'll be exempt from cause and effect, they'll have a lot of nice things. No, They won't. You will. But their actions will come back to them. Your actions will come back to you. Don't conflate the two. Don't try and mix the two together. No. You have yours, they have theirs. So sharing, like we said before, tough love. When you're shining light on them, yes, you may have to, because you've been inspired, you start to send the light, your soul will inspire you and give you guidance and direction. Sometimes it's shine the light and walk away. Do nothing external. Sometimes, as you're shining the light, you'll get that intuitive voice that tells you, say this, say that. And as we've said, but it will be filled with light. So there'll be a cup that doesn't look good. It'll be stern words or what have you, but it'll come with light, and therefore it will penetrate their mud, their blockages, and reach into the light of their soul. One, you've set a seed in motion of kindness, love, compassion, whatever. You've been strong to show them that they can't walk all over you, but with love, so it really awakens light in them. Enough awakening, yes, they'll change also, but don't look for their change right away. Look for the light that comes back to you. So you look at the great Kabbalists, none of them were weak. None of them let people walk all over them. No, but they were always conduits of the light. They always acted to shine light, be a conduit of light of the Creator to all people on the planet. That's how they acted. That's an example for us. Now, because it is cause and effect, I want to make sure that we don't let now, as you're working with this, the AI program still has to put up some blockage, some logical reason how not to act like the light, how not to think like the light. So I've seen over the years I'm in the center, people say, oh, if it's all cause and effect, then when they see somebody, let's say in an accident, oh, it's all cause and effect. Gee, I wonder what they did wrong that they're now in that accident. No, that's also not acting like the Creator. You see trouble, even bad actors getting in return something challenging. There's only one soul extended into 8.5 billion bodies. Our job is to remember, like all the great Kabbalists, there's only one soul. Every human being out there is a part of me, is a part of you. We're all part of each other. So yes, it's from their point of view maybe cause and effect, but you and I still have to have an awakening, like all the great Kabbalists, a sense of pain that there's still chaos in the world, that there's still suffering in the world. We have to feel the pain because it's a part of us. Although unfortunately most people don't feel it that way, but at least we have to have the true consciousness that if somebody out there is suffering, then there's more light to be revealed, and I need to have empathy, compassion for that person's soul that's trapped in a body that's going through that terrible pain or doing those negative things. So that I wake up, and all the Kabbalistic writings teach that the great Kabbalists and that soul that we call the Messiah is a soul, is a consciousness that feels the pain of every human being in the world. And that's why it says about Moses, Moses was equal to all humanity. Not because whatever, he was smarter, because he felt the pain of every human being on earth, even the ones that were acting externally in a bad way. He felt the pain of the soul. He knew the potential that was inside to be righteous, kind, loving, and have eternal bliss in a harmonious, unifying way, instead of the AI program making them think, oh, in a divisive way, get rid of them, take from them, and they'd have peace and harmony. No. So when something goes wrong, just even in life, if something goes wrong with your car, do you just toss the whole thing away, or do you make an effort to find out what's wrong so you can go to somebody who knows how to fix it and get it fixed? Computer goes wrong, you take a computer repair person. So even in simple human terms, when something goes wrong, we make an effort to fix it. We don't just try and cut it out. Imagine something goes wrong with the computer, you start pulling out some wires inside. Or something goes wrong with the car and you start to disconnect things. Not going to be very helpful. You have to take out, so to speak, the defective part and replace it. So how do we do that? You wake up light. Light is the only thing will take away darkness. And so the Zohar says, very simply, of itself, as no other book or teaching teaches. There's no holy book on earth other than the Zohar that literally says of itself, this book will take away all pain, suffering, and death by removing the AI program from one's consciousness and allow a stronger awakening and guidance from the light of their soul. Because at the end of the story, it's only the opponent, it's only that AI program that is our opposition, or if you will, our enemy. There's no human being that's our enemy, all part of the same team. Yes, like so many different ways, people can act in opposition to their godlike, light-like nature, like you and I do on our level. We have our not like behaviors still left. Our job, so how many of you would like to be, heaven forbid, X'd out of the world because you have a little bit of impatience or anger or jealousy or fear? Even on your level, just a little bit, nothing major, but a little bit, still not light-like. So if every piece of darkness has to go out of this world, then there'd be nobody left. Our job, as Rav Ashlag writes it, to bring everything in a sweetening process, from bitter to sweet, from darkness to light, from chaos to order. And the only thing that will do that eternally, to take out the AI program, is the books of the Zohar. We want to have an awakening today to make more focused, intense, and accelerated effort to have the Zohar, to spread the Zohar, to use our Zohar, to be, one, take more and more of our AI program away, the AI of Satan, the opponent, to take away our spiritual mud, awaken the true godlike, light-like consciousness, actions into our daily life, and support other people. Because as you hold the thought, the only source of chaos, pollution, anger, fighting, political problems, bad health, etc., it's all rooted in the AI program that's taunting people to act the opposite of the light. So the opposite of the light is sickness, trouble in relationships, bad feelings, bad health, all of that. Get rid of the AI program, we'll all act only like the light and have only the blessings of the light. So, yes, every week I tell you the same thing, because the mission of the Kabbalah Centre ultimately is Zohar in every house. Or at least moving towards that, enough Zohar in the world that light becomes the majority in the world. So get one of the books, the Pocket Zohar, get a few of them for your family and friends, get the Sacred Zohar, which is all the Aramaic of the Zohar, or you can get the Aramaic English, whatever you get. Also, I want to encourage you, get the books, yes, because the physical book is important, but also you can get a free Zohar app on the phone. Go to the Zohar store, look up the Zohar app from the Kabbalah Centre. It's a free app. You have all the sections of the Zohar for health and peace and forgiveness and tolerance and legal matters and finding right relationships, etc., etc. It's all there. And the Aramaic you can scan while you have one of the teachers actually reading the Aramaic. So not only can you use your eyes, window to the soul, to scan along, or if you're driving or what have you, you're busy at home, you can hear the Aramaic being read which means that vibration of that light is also emanating out. So today, let's all just decide, enough is enough. Enough chaos, enough pain and suffering. It's already overwhelming. When we decide it's overwhelming, we will do something about it. We will read our Zohar more, scan our Zohar more, keep our Zohar more, meditate to shine more light out, help other people get out of the darkness. Because enough is enough. The pain, suffering, and death that we've experienced all these thousands of years needs to be in our heart and soul. Too much already. Enough is enough. Begin to understand and make an effort to feel the pain of other people's souls and our soul trapped in the mud, in the chaos of whatever level of reactive behavior there is. So that by bringing greater light, Zohar just means splendor, illumination, bringing more Zohar into the world brings for you and me a world of peace and harmony, a return to the Garden of Eden, and love, unity, happiness, and eternal bliss for all and forever. God bless. So as always, I want to thank those of you who are regular contributors to the center, supporting the center. And remember, where your energy goes is what you get back. The center, Kabbalah centers to spread the Zohar and this wisdom, to help people know how to operate on a daily basis through their personal physical world, but operate from the soul, is all inclusive. There's no exclusion in the center. We want peace, harmony, bliss for every human being on earth. And as we've talked about, the faster that we bring this wisdom and the tool, especially the Zohar, to the world, the faster everybody wakes up and gets out of the mud of their anger, their fear, their violence, their hatred, their thievery, whatever, in a major way or a minor way. Darkness is removed by the light. Enough light will take away all the darkness. So with your support, we can speed up this process of, one, awakening consciousness by people coming to the center and learning what we're learning until they understand the power of the Zohar. And then we can, with their support, your support, spread the Zohar faster and faster. End of all pain, suffering, and death. Who benefits? All of us. So thank you for your contribution. I put the link here on the chat so that you can show your, just one, if you gain something from today, cause and effect. If you received some energy, some spiritual awakening, then give of your resources to help others have the same thing. So let's do our meditation. I chose this one today, one of the 72 names, Daled Nun Yud. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Let's use this name, Daled Nun Yud. Let the light of it shine inside through your eyes to your heart and soul, that you will also have the necessary awakening to feel, one, the power that you have been given by the Creator to change the entire world. Each of us has that power. But also to decide the chaos, the divisiveness, the pain and suffering in the world is enough already. That we have to, we are committed to end that pain and suffering. Daled Nun Yud. So just let the letters, the shapes, be engraved in your mind's eye. And then sitting comfortably in your seat, feet flat on the floor, hands in your lap. Begin to relax into the light that's in and around you. Taking a deep breath through your nose, hold the breath for a moment, and exhale through your mouth. Increasing the circulation of the breath of life. Increasing the circulation of the light of the Creator that's in every breath. Allowing it to come in, sweep through you head to toe, and as you exhale, releasing tension, chaos, confusion, stress, releasing all the aspects of darkness, allowing you to feel, to connect to the infinite light in and all around you. To feel, understand the awakening on a greater level, the power of the light force that the Creator implanted inside you. Allow yourself to feel hugged, wrapped in the infinite light of unconditional love. That the more you and I feel and experience that unconditional love, the pure light of the Creator, then the more we have the strength, the desire, and the willingness to shine light from our heart and soul of unconditional love to the heart and soul of every human being on earth. To wake up that power of their soul and their consciousness of unconditional love. That each of us, reducing and reducing and reducing our negative behavior and increasing and strengthening the light of our light-like behaviors. And so returning, breathing normally, together we envision the Daled Nun Yud just above our heads, shining with the infinite light of the Creator, vibrating, emanating the vibration, the light of unconditional love, and the power to decide right now, enough is enough. No more chaos. Strengthening our desire and our commitment to do the actions of greater love, kindness, and compassion that is dissipating the darkness and revealing the true light that's inside each and every one of us. And so slowly allow the Daled Nun Yud to enter through the top of your head. And let it pass from head to toe, shining its light, Daled Nun Yud. That the stress, the tension, the confusion inside you is transforming as darkness transforms to light in the presence of light. The light, Daled Nun Yud, the light of the Creator, activating more and more of the pure light inside every spiritual cell of our being. Activating more light-like thoughts, allowing us to hear the voice of our soul louder than the voice of our opponent in our heads. The Daled Nun Yud in your heart and soul, bringing a greater awareness of how we've let our heart be blocked from emanating love your neighbor as yourself, unconditional love. and activating the light in every cell of our being, that all of our words, thoughts, and actions are of greater love and kindness, apology, forgiveness, gratitude, humility, generosity. More and more, the revelation and manifestation of our pure and perfect light being, and manifesting more of the blessings the Creator has implanted inside of us. And so now envision a beam of light of this Daled Nun Yud from your heart and soul out to the heart and soul of all your family and friends, seeing them awakening. Also, the pain and suffering, the chaos and confusion that they're experiencing is now enough. And they are willing, empowered, and motivated to shine greater light from them out to the world, removing their darkness, a greater connection to the light in their soul and the infinite light all around them. And now let's envision that beam of light, Daled Nun Yud, extending from them to all of their family and friends, and ultimately out to the heart and soul of every human being on earth. That we see together in this power of unity and oneness, the awakening of the light of the Creator inside every person. That everyone, no matter how badly they've been acting, in this moment has that awakening. Enough is enough. No more reactive, negative behavior. The realization that it hasn't served them. And the awakening of the sense, the understanding, the awareness of the light of the Creator and source of true, lasting blessings inside them. And as that light wakes up, its natural tendencies, its natural behavior is to shine out love, compassion, kindness towards all human beings. Let's see together in our mind's eye a world of peace and harmony. The light of the Creator shining everywhere, on everyone, from everyone, to everyone. All people happy, joyous, peaceful, loving, and unified. As it was in the beginning, it is now, at the end, the Garden of Eden once more, and forever. And with this vision, let each one of us make a greater commitment to do more, to share more, to pause and shine more light into all the darkness around us, to all the darkness in the world. That only the light exists in the cosmos, and peace is all there is and all we experience. And together we'll take one more deep breath to anchor it into heart, soul, and mind. And as you exhale, Slowly opening your eyes. Thank you for joining us. Share this with other people. Put it out there. Imagine when the light rules the social media, rules the internet, that the light will enter even that way to the hearts and minds of people. We have that capability. We can finish all the pain, suffering, and death, as the prophets say, in the blink of an eye. May we make that happen. Bring that end to the darkness forever. God bless. See you next time.